Колеги, вітання. Ми продовжуємо.
Greetings. We continue our working day. The presidential administration spokesperson on ATO issues, Colonel Lysenko. Greetings, esteemed colleagues. The events in the ATO zone, which were taking place yesterday on the 21st of June in Mariupolsky direction, the situation continues to be very tense. Active military actions were going on in Shirokina and Berdyansk. Illegal armed groupings are actively using 122mm artillery. Also, the enemy snipers are working there. Battle started in the second half of the day yesterday and lasted till the sunset. In Donetsk direction, in the area of airport, the military actions are taking place 24 hours a day. The enemy brought to Donetsk and is actively using the heavy weaponry, tanks and large caliber guns. The main areas of concentration of prohibited types of weapons of the enemy is the territory of Donetsk airport, Spartak village and the residential quarters of Donetsk. The aggressive actions of illegal groups were registered by the monitors of the joint group of control and coordination. To your attention, the dynamic of enemies' shellings in the area of airport. On the 16th of June, they were shelling 28 times, 17, 37 times, 18th of June, 41 times, 19th of June, 45 times, and 20th of June, 53 times. The increasing number of provocations certify to the fact that the militants are concentrating their fire at this section to move forward, but professional actions of ATO forces do not allow these plans to be implemented. Near Gorlivka, there was a series of shootings and artillery shellings at our positions along the whole perimeter of occupied city. In Lugansk direction, the enemy concentrated their offense on the controlled by Ukraine section of the right bank of Siversky Donetsk near Bakhmutskaya highway. It's near Novotashkivsky till Sokilniki. The enemy has chosen the tactic of shelling at our positions and settlements in the dark time of the day. Also in the evening, the enemy was shelling from mortars near Stanitsa Luganska. The terrorists continued to ruin infrastructure of Donbass. On the 20th of June, the subversive group of militants blew up the automobile bridge across River Lugan near Troitsky village. Yesterday in the zone of ATO, 8 drones were registered and one more in the rear between Berdyansk and Mariupol. During the last 24 hours, and the result of active military actions, 2 Ukrainian servicemen were killed and 3 were wounded. The European Union Council continued the action of sanctions against Russia till the 31st of January 2016. These restricting measures were introduced in connection with the aggression of Russia in the east of Ukraine in July and September last year. The training of the armed forces units continue. In Shiroky land test field, which is in Mykolaievsky region, the training of snipers was held. The servicemen were shooting from different types of weapons and from different positions. They trained dozens of highly professional snipers, among them one girl. For the military commandership was observing these practical trainings according.
Okay.
As Colonel Zabrodsky, who is a commander of paratroopers, he told that all the tasks were done perfectly. Ukrainian law enforcement bodies trained how to fight against infiltrators together with local patriots and National Guards Azov. They had trainings on how to defend police in case there is some efforts or attempts to captured, and they worked on evacuation of women and who belong to the staff. The aim of the training is to improve the skills of police and to be ready to extreme conditions, including battles. And they had a practical training on how to combat, how to divide police building, and using different devices and distracting devices. As a result, they had an operational meeting and they discussed shortcomings. They connected the interaction between different subunits and the soldiers from Azov who on the front line, and they have combat experience. They shared that with their colleagues. Also, there are joint trainings of Ukrainian National Guards and American military men. Military and National Guards of Ukraine who participate in joint trainings. Fearless Guardian 2015 shared the first impressions. Every morning begins with morning exercises for 90 minutes. They run not less than 4 kilometers a day together with National Guards. American military men train also. To cook, they invited cooks from those who provide cooking in Lviv and different chains. And also there is unlimited vegetables and fruits. National Guards were surprised because there were movies used on how to save Ryan. As they say, there are correct and wrong actions of military men during in that movie. And reminded about yesterday of a doctor, for your attention, a story about Victoria Davidov, who serves in the National Guards of Ukraine. She joined the service in April this year. Before, she was just a nurse, a regular nurse. When she was asked to help in the military enrollment committee, she agreed. And in several weeks, she asked to mobilize her for the military service. And she always believed that a nurse should serve and in the troops. And she felt that she cannot be aside when there is the war in the country, and she would like to make her input in the victory. Since the middle of May, she is in 80O area. She agreed to go according to her own wish, and now she is one of the checkpoints where often it is under shelling, and also groups of the enemy are there. But the nurse is very courageous. She saves Ukrainian military and shares her skills to others. That's it. If there is any question, please, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Now, questions. Dmitro Polipets, Ukrainians. Terroristic media shares information that as if Alexander Kolomyts, who introduced himself as a general major of armed forces of Ukraine, he joined militants. Is there a comment about that? Major General? It's difficult to say. I don't have such information. I will clarify and inform you about that. Any other question? Logic Ostrov Information Agency. The same Alexander Kolomyts, and at the press conference in Donetsk, he announced that hundreds of soldiers and officers of armed forces of Ukraine joined militants. And is there any statistics, or did it happen in general? If he speaks about hundreds, it means that it's already not true, because we calculate those people who serve and who are wounded, who are missing, and who are killed, but not hundreds. That's, I'm sure. As to betraying, we have information about those who were captured, about 270. They were arrested by militants, and 70 of them are just civilians. So about 200 soldiers are arrested hostages, if they show that as if our military men joined them, it's not true, because that battalion commander, they let him go. They only suggested him to be a battalion commander in the Russian army. He refused, and now he is on our side. So people who have battle experience and who would have the position in a commanding position, and they suggest to them to betray, but our soldiers disagree, and those who are there, they are there, and those who returned, they continue their service in the armed forces of Ukraine. Thank you. Any other question? No. Thank you, Colonel. Thank you. See you. Our next press event is at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m.